What is going on, YouTube people? Neo Cards and Comics here today to have a little talk about something that I keep an eye on that I actually think is better than watching comps on a card, a comic, whatever it is. We're going to use a comic book as an example today, but this would apply to sports cards, comics, basically any collectible. We all know, you go check the last sold listing and, on eBay, your data tool, your market movers, your card ladder, whatever it is that you use to get an idea of what a card's selling for. And that gives you a piece of the puzzle. It doesn't show you the whole puzzle. It's not the whole pie. It's not the whole picture, whatever saying you want to insert there. What I actually find more telling is what doesn't sell. So what do I mean by this? I follow, and once again, we're going to use a comic book example here, but you could apply this to anything. I follow a lot of really large Instagram consignment sellers for comics. Grails, Diamond Club, who I have up on the screen here, Elite, and a couple of others. I get more information from what they post at good prices that does not get claimed than I do looking at any sold listings page. I think it is extremely valuable seeing what gets thrown up and what does not get gobbled up. It's also interesting to see when something gets posted at a pretty fair price, how long does it last? Because it gives you an idea of demand for a book. So, or once again, you could insert sports card here as well. If they post something and it seems like it's at a pretty good price and it gets gobbled up within, sometimes I've seen it get gobbled up in 5 or 10 minutes if it's a really, really good price. But if it's a pretty fair price and it gets posted up and it moves quick, that gives you an idea of the liquidity of that item. Case in point. Here is, and this is no shots at Diamond Comic Club. This was just the first good example that I found scrolling through. They posted this up, and I'm recording this in the Wayback Machine, so you're seeing this in the future. They posted this up on, I believe, February 3rd, a CGC 98 ASM 300 for $4,000. Perfectly fair price. Perfectly fair. All the previous comps were right around 4K. I have them pulled up. I'll show them in a minute. Went unclaimed. A couple people tagged people. That's it. No one claimed it. No one DM'd an offer, at least not that I know of. As of today, I am recording this a couple days later. You're seeing this in the future. It had not sold yet. Once again, typically stuff posted at strong prices usually gets gobbled up fast. So this tells you something. This tells you an ASM 300 is a very popular book, especially in a 9.8. There are a lot of them out there, but it is not, it definitely skews lighter on the 9.8 side. There's a ton of 9.6s. I have a 9.6. It gives you some insight into the market's perception of this book. And Diamond Comic Club is one that posts. If things are liquid and moving fast and posted correctly, they get gobbled up fast. And once again, this was a very fair price. You look at, I'll pull the comps up real quick here. So here's all the January sales. 4,500, 4K, 4,100, 4K, 4,200, 3,800, 4K, 3,900, 4K. And then this actually sold, I think the day they posted it or the day after they posted it, 3,550. So once again, at time of posting, completely fair price. Even today, if I was posting this book for sale, I would probably post it at around 4K ask and maybe expect to take a little bit less. I think that's very fair. Once again, when you have a month worth of comps at 4K and then all of a sudden there's one 3,500, as a seller, I'm not going to gravitate towards the 3,500. As a buyer, I'm obviously going to try to leverage that, but you kind of get the point. But seeing something like this posted, and this could be a PSA 10 LeBron or a comic book, at a good price and sitting for multiple days, I think is way more telling and way more information gathering than looking at sold listings. Because sold listings, is what happened in the past. They're a guide. Yes, we use them, we rely on them. They help inform a lot of our buying and selling decisions. But to be honest, I have learned way more from paying attention to what doesn't sell or what takes a while to move from following these large IG sellers. And once again, I do the same thing on the sports card side of things. There's some large consignment dealers that I watch. You can do the same thing on eBay. This is not IG specific. You know, if you see a bin posted of something that seems like a pretty good deal and it doesn't get gobbled up right away, that should tell you something. You know, if someone priced something slightly under comps or a little bit below comps on a card that moves, you know, we're not talking about like a PSA 10 base card, but, you know, something that's semi-rare but moves frequent enough, maybe like a silver or like a Contenders auto or something like that. And it gets posted up and you look at it and you do a double take and you're like, huh, that's a little bit cheaper than kind of what I thought it would get listed for. That's like, you know, 10% less than what they usually sell for. And you favorite it and it doesn't move right away within a day or two. That should be extremely telling to you that, oh, wait, you know, even though the last sold listing was at $1,000 for this card, this one got posted at $900 and no one's touching it, you know, 3 weeks later or something. That is much more valuable than just blindly following the sold listings page. You know, people complain about being a slave to comps and, you know, comps are the worst thing that happened or the best thing that happened, or dealers hate them, buyers love them, this, that, and the other thing. There's people that want to just argue about the usefulness of comps, and they are very important. It's what we base a lot of our transactions on. But I do believe it is worth taking things a little step further and paying attention to these things that don't show up in an app. These things that don't show up on a data tool. They don't show up on 130 point. You know, this is not going to show up in GPA that an ASM 300 and a 9.8 got posted at comps and didn't sell. And here's the thing, buying off an IG seller, yes, the seller is saving processing fees from eBay. You know, the IG consignment is going to take a small slice, but it's going to be way less than what an eBay is going to take. And as a buyer, you're not paying sales tax. So on a $4,000 book, you know, if you typically pay sales tax on your transactions, you're saving a lot of money by buying it off the IG seller versus going to eBay. So the fact that something like this sits is very telling about the current state of the market of ASM 300s. And you want them, if you are using stuff like this, use eBay, use very large sellers that have thousands and thousands and tens of thousands of followers in some cases. You know, if it's some guy that has 50 followers posts something 30% below comps and it sits, that's not telling you a whole lot. But if it is one of these pages that is known as a large consigner in whatever market it is that you're in, posts this stuff and it doesn't move or it sits, that's a key piece of information to tell yourself. Maybe you're in the market for that book and that lets you know, hey, maybe things are cooling a little bit on this. Maybe I'm better off to wait a little bit and kind of let things play out a little bit more. Or once again, the reverse could be true. They post it for a strong price or maybe even a very fair price. Let's say, for example, this got posted at 4K, which is right at what the last one sold like. And within an hour, someone's like, claim. And then you see 3 posts below it. Backup claim, backup claim, back up to the backup claim. I've seen that plenty of times before. That tells me that there are a lot of buyers for that particular item at that price range. And then maybe that price range is a little too low. Maybe it needs to sneak up a little bit. If you have 5 people waiting in line to buy a $4,000 collectible, maybe the price should actually be a little bit higher than $4,000. So just pay attention to this little stuff. Like I said, this isn't something that a tool's going to throw in your face. This is something that you just got to do on your own. Pay attention to this stuff. Take mental notes, maybe jot it down in a notebook or whatever. Could be very valuable information to give you an idea of kind of what's going on in the current marketplace that you're in. Once again, we use comic book here, but this could apply to anything. Hope this was helpful. That is all I have for you, boys and girls, today. We will catch you on the next one. Peace.